This is Jonathan Agger here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Barry Mcguigan. Barry, I'm guessing you're a happy man after seeing Chris Billam-Smith knock out Xhoxhaj and Caroline Dubois impressing with the first round knockout.
Yeah, very impressed. Caroline was spectacular. Blew away a girl that has campaigned at lightweight for her entire career and never been stopped, and she took her out in 60 seconds. It was brutal. The referee saved the girl from an absolutely shellac, and she would have got very badly beaten up, so the referee done a good job. I didn't like the fact that Chris, the CBS as we call him, Chris Billam-Smith, decided to have a fight with the kid before he had tired him out and got hurt a few times and caught. That's unnecessary, I feel, but his finish was spectacular. What he was trying to do was just grind him down slowly and take him out in a spectacular fashion, which is what he did, but it was a hard fight, unnecessarily risky, I thought. But CBS is a special kid, and I have so much respect for him, and love him, and hopefully it's world title fight next.
As you mentioned, that guy really came to fight tonight. He didn't back down. Excuse me. If Chris does get the world title fight, do you think going into this fight it was difficult in a way to get up for it, because he didn't know who this was? It wasn't the world title, and the world title's within reach.
It had banana skin written all over it, this fight. This guy could punch a bit. He only lost to Masanek and somebody else, but he's a tough kid, especially in the early stages of the fight. We sort of implored Chris to use his boxing skills more and right out the early rounds, not get involved in a tear-up, but he's on a home turf here. He loves to entertain, and invariably got involved in a bit earlier than he needed to. Nevertheless, he showed his grit as ever, showed his pluck and his courage and his tenacity, and that was a spectacular finish.
Just staying with your son's gym, Daniel Dubois was ordered to fight Oleksandr Usyk. I'm not sure that fight's going to happen, but what was your reaction to that? Where do you feel Daniel is in comparison to an Usyk, for example?
Well, it's interesting. Dan has a tear on his ACL, and it's interesting. As soon as we got the news that he had a tear in his ACL, suddenly he was offered the fight, which he can't have. He can't box for 6 months now anyway because of the repair time and so on and so forth. So that was interesting. I don't think it's fair to make him fight when he's unwell, so he'll need a leave of absence, as it were. But he's ready to fight the top guys. I'd rather he fought someone like Joshua or Tyson Fury rather than Usyk, because Usyk is a bag of tricks and he's a southpaw. But I have no fear of him fighting any of these guys. He got hit on top of the head the last time, and then when he stepped back, he tore his ACL, and his balance was very badly affected, and he had to come back from adversity, and he showed that he could do that. Kept his cool. Shane's advice in the corner was great. Kept him nice and relaxed, used his boxing skills, and walked his opponent onto Kevin Lerner onto that right hand, and then the finish was spectacular. And some people say, he should have been allowed to continue, but he was brutally knocked out. So Howard Foster done him a favour. A great performance, and very happy with Dan's progress. Could have done without the ACL tear, and we'll see how that comes about. What pressure the WBA put on him, and obviously Frank Warren will be doing his best to fend them off and give him some time to recover, because that's what he needs.
Final question, Barry. We expect, if that fight doesn't happen, for Fury to fight Usyk next year. How do you see the fight going?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've always thought that Tyson would be too strong and heavy for him, and he would be able to lean on him and make him tired and overwhelm him in the sort of second half of the fight. But I'm not so sure anymore. I think it's a much more difficult fight than I first assumed. Anybody can win this fight. It's a tough fight. You've got to give Fury the favouritism, because they can't fight in the Ukraine. It's going to be in the UK or potentially in the United Arab Emirates. But you got to make Fury the favourite, but it's no foregone conclusion. I think it's a very tough fight.
Barry, really appreciate it.
Welcome, John.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, mate.